Alexander Board of Education. Can we have roll?
Here.
Here? Here. Yes.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I'm going to make a motion for the adoption of the agenda with the item 1 from the treasurer's recommendation under consent agenda for the minutes to be removed.
Seconded.
Roll.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. Yes.
Yes. We didn't have any public participation sign up, so we now have time for the public hearing. The public will hear any comments related to the reemployment of retiree Jennifer Smathers to the same position as a paraprofessional. All right. Then we have the consent agenda. I'll make a motion.
Seconded.
Roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we're now on, just to follow, we're on item treasurer's recommendation on the third page. That takes care of the entire consent agenda. Okay. So under treasurer's recommendations, it's recommended the Board of Education approve the after-the-fact invoices for the Athens Megs ESC for $3,344.74 for REACH program.
Moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. Roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Under item B, it's recommended the Board of Education approve the bid to complete the Alexander Track project. So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. So I'd just like to start off with, it's been a long time coming. We've had a lot of discussion over it, but we also have, I just said your name, Kaylee, from Kleinger, and Myron from G&M, here to discuss, answer any questions that people may still have according to the track or in reference to the track. What's being, what got put out to bid was a track, an 8-lane track where it now exists, and we have several options.
Just a point of clarification, we should denote the winner of the bid, G&M Construction, in the resolution,
Okay.
is it not?
So then I will make a motion to add G&M Construction Incorporated as the bid approved by this board. So we'll have to have a second for that and vote on that first.
Second.
Okay. So we'll have to vote on that amended and then vote on it all together. Okay. Well, wait, any other discussion items? Okay. The biggest thing I would like to say is we have we had 3 different bids come in, and we have 2 alternatives really that we're looking at, and those are adding on I'm just trying to get the upgraded surface as well as the storage building. And would like to approve that the spending amount to be $1,994,500 up to. We can discuss it on later times, but does anybody have any questions for people that are here?
So tonight, we're not deciding on that that track surface. That is something that we can decide on later.
Correct. Up to that amount.
1,994,500.
Correct.
Okay.
One question I have is, in this proposal summary I have before me, the alternate number 2 upgraded track surface, that is included in that number?
Correct.
Okay. And Will, if I'm right, that's the polyurethane plus 1 layer?
That, what is denoted there is the sandwich, what they call the sandwich, where it is the polyurethane, it's the impermeable
Okay.
track surface. I'm learning this track lingo. But we have some people here that could speak to it directly if you'd like to. Just for a point of clarification, Ms. Kaylee, if you'd like to talk a little bit about that.
So I can talk a little bit about the 2 different services.
Do you mind stepping up to the mic? So
What's in this bid that I have before me? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. So the base bid that you have. The base bid, the item 1.1.1, includes a track surface, and it's called the single component structural spray. So it's a base map. I've got samples here of the 2 different systems. It's a permeable system, so water can go down in through it, but it can also come back up through it. There's pros and cons to that, as well as pros and cons to it being impermeable. But it basically is a base mat, and then a spray gets installed on top of it, and it's what we see most at high schools. We installed this at the Wellston High School track a couple years ago when we helped them design their project. The upgraded system is called a 13 millimeter sandwich system, and that's where the polyurethane gets squeegeed onto the base map, which makes it impermeable. So water will not be able to go down into the surface, but if water system, their cleats are able to get further down, or the permeable system, the single component spray, they're able to get down into those permeables or those grooves and pick it up easier than the upgraded system. So you're going to want to do your maintenance spray every 4 to 5 years. Where you have the upgraded system, you can usually get 7 to maybe 8 years before you're doing a maintenance spray on it, because it's a more durable system.
But I guess what I wanted to really know is that first option you're talking about, that is included in this bid?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So track surface is included in that
Okay.
number. It's just the upgraded is the additional
Yeah,
amount.
It's this right here, right?
That's the
upgraded
upgrade.
track surface, but that's included in the 19?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, out of curiosity, what's the round number of maintenance when you go back and you respray between the two? Are they vastly different there as well?
I can also pass these around. I don't know if it's helpful to see kind of the difference
Sure.
between them. For the single components spray, you're probably looking at like 80,000 every 4 to 5 years. And a lot of that goes into how much you're using the track, how much use you're getting out of it, how much you're tearing up that polyurethane. The last thing you want to do is get down into that base map, because that does then tend to get harder and can be it's a harder track to run on then for your athletes. The upgraded system can go upwards to 100,000 for a maintenance spray, but again, you could potentially get 7 to 8 years out of your track before having to do that.
So 20,000 difference for 3 to 4 more years.
Correct. Well, the hope is that when you install a track surface, that you're getting at least 20 years out of your track surface before you're having to do a full removal of that surface and reinstallation. There could be a possibility with that upgraded system where you could potentially get more than 20 years out of it, but that all goes into if you guys stay up on maintenance and how much wear and tear you guys are putting on the track every year. And freeze thaw, winters can also play into that. So you could get more than 20 years out of the track surface.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Also with the upgrade system, it's my understanding, I'm no professional at the surface either. I have my surface guy, and he is more than willing to answer any of you guys' questions at any time. He's wonderful. His name's Arch Gullis, AG Sports. But it's my understanding that with the upgraded system, also recent studies have shown that the asphalt underneath is a lot. If you do have to pull the system up in 20 years, 15 years, that asphalt isn't as damaged as what your system is that lays the water on it. So they were able to, recently, he's had a few tracks where they pulled this system up and they've been able to just use the same asphalt that's there and go back over. So.
And that probably has to do with less water getting to the asphalt because it is not permeable. But there's still a chance that you would have to potentially take up a little bit of that asphalt, especially if you're seeing cracking in your track surface or delamination. You could need to put on an inch, take off an inch of asphalt and put down an inch before you put on a new track surface.
Myron, I know at the last discussion we had, there were some questions about timeline and this and that. Can you clarify timeline you guys were hoping to do in your bid?
Sure. The timeline, I did provide a schedule. Did you guys receive the schedule? The timeline that I provided was based on your football season, not interrupting the football season, plus giving the right weather temperature to for the surface, because that's the critical part. You have to be above 50 degrees, and even at night. So I say June is the best time. If it's put down in the right weather, it's going to give you the longer product as anything. It's just like concrete. If you pour concrete in the middle of the winter time, unless you treat it really, really good, it's not going to last as long as what you do if you got a good, fall day. It's nice and cool and you pour it that way. But, my timeline basically was November, using the winter time to work on some of the drainage, leave the surface area down so we don't destroy the, what granulars we have underneath. The less we tear up under there, the better off we're going to be. So if we could tear that up in the spring, closer to the repaving date, we found that's better. It works a lot better. We don't have as many areas to fix in the track and create, issues with rain, weather, how soils are. Other than that, it's basically based on your timeline. Based on you guys' schedule in school, we would tear up in the spring. We would have this thing surfaced by the end of June and have you, that way we're not interrupting your football season and stuff for the next year.
Thank you.
Good.
Other discussion items?
So are we going for an upgraded vote tonight, or is it just, we're keeping
It's-
it in reserve?
Right now, we're authorizing that amount, and we can decide as it goes forward if we're gonna spend that full amount or not.
We're authorizing 1,994,000.
Yeah,
Okay. And that includes the upgraded.
That's the first, that's the polyurethane plus one layer of adhesive. Is that how that works? Is that why I understood that when I was reading the?
that, the upgrade
with the
system.
upgrade.
All of it.
Oh, that's what the
all of that
sandwich,
is
that's the
included.
13, oh,
Yeah,
okay, I see what you're
yeah.
saying.
All
Yep,
of that is
gotcha.
included.
Hold.
The
Okay.
resolution would carry us up to that dollar amount. We could work within that dollar amount if we
Gotcha.
chose not to do the
I
upgrade.
see what you're saying.
Yep.
Correct.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Roll.
We're on the amended or
Is
we're
this-
on the
is
final?
We're on the amended to add GNM to the, so we have to do the amended to add GNM Construction Incorporated to the agenda item, and then we'll roll to, again. So,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, and now for the actual motion itself.
Yes.
Has everything we asked for, yeah.
yes,
Yes.
Gladly, yes. Superintendent's recommendations. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the memorandum of understanding with the Athens County Sheriff's Office for the provision of a school resource officer for the 2022-23 and the 2023-24 school years.
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. Now, just, Mr. Hampton, this is a change from last year where we had part-time. This would be a full-time resource officer for our, dedicated to our school.
Yes, we would have a full-time resource officer here. That person would be dedicated to this school. We're working with the Athens County Sheriff right now to find the right individual. And as soon as we get that individual in, we'll start to get to know them, build relationships. And I think that'll be well received by the community and the school. So, yes.
All right? Roll.
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. Under item B, it's recommended the Board of Education approve the following prices for federal and state reimbursable school lunch and breakfast for the 2022-23 school year. It further authorizes the food service director to adjust non-reimbursable meal item prices as determined to be necessary with the approval of the superintendent. So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. So this, again, is just a change for all those, the federal government is no longer picking up free lunches. We are still staying with the free breakfast, though. So lunches will now be paid for by the student or families, but breakfast will still be provided.
Unless the family receives the free breakfast as it is.
Correct.
Correct. We want to encourage everyone to complete the form. If everyone completes the form, we get a higher amount of coverage for our free meals. We want to make sure not to burden people unnecessarily. So the district, and I appreciate it, and I'm sure the community does as well, is covering the cost of breakfast, but lunch will be on the family still for those individuals who don't qualify. So we'll get that information out and let people know as soon as possible so they can all prepare.
Absolutely. Roll.
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. Under item C, it's recommended the Board of Education approve the amended school calendar for the 2022-23 school year to include October 20th, 2022, and February 16th, 2023 as professional development days. Students are not required to attend.
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. Now, my understanding, this was requested by admin as there is no current professional development
Yes.
days in the calendar.
Yes, I've only been here a short time, and the professional development days are something that's come up repeatedly as something everyone is in desire of. It goes exactly along with what we expect out of our kids, is that we teach, we learn, we grow, and these are opportunities for our staff to teach, learn, to learn and to grow as well. So, talked with our associations. They're in support of this. I think it's a good move. I have promised the administrators are there responsible for building a robust and useful day. I don't want to waste anyone's time. It needs to be worthwhile, and we'll make sure to do that. So those 2 days will be in the calendar. Students will not report. This won't impact our calendar in any way other than students don't report on those days.
The students still get their 1,001 hours, correct?
We will meet, we have 10-plus days of cushion to meet our hours, because everything's based on hours now, not days.
So again, just for restating, that is October 20th, 2022, and February 16th, 2023. Roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item D, it's recommended the Board of Education approve the resolution to waive the competitive bidding and enter into contract with Train US for the chiller replacement and maintenance program.
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. This is part of our maintenance plan, slightly deviated, where we are, don't get me wrong, we're using parts from one to complete the other and revamping the backup, correct? Using,
We're repairing one, and I don't know the system as deeply as Mr. McCollum. If you're willing to speak to it,
and he's out.
he's either going to leave or not. But he could speak to it. He knows the system very well.
Chiller 1 is our primary. There's 3 compressors. It runs a heat harvester that we use to run heat to school on mild temperature days. So it runs most of the time. So just so I'll give you some numbers just so you kind of know. So Chiller 1, the one I'm going to have all new compressors on, has 31,000 starts with over 20,000 hours on every compressor. So we have one of the bearings are starting to heat up and it's going on a high low temp. So we're going to take and put all new compressors on that one, 18 new condenser fans, all new wiring, all new expansion valves, all new sensors. So it'll be all new except for the barrel, which Freon and water go through to cool the water. And the only, trying to think, the condenser themselves won't be changed. But everything mechanically that moves on that one will be changed. Now, this is like $170,000 versus $350,000 for a new one. So the one we use primary will be 100% redone. The other one, we have a blown compressor motor on it, went out I don't know, a couple of months ago. And we can function without it. It's not affecting anything. But we're going to take the best compressor off of that one and put it on it because it's only, and leave it so it's a backup is what it is. But the primary will be all new. So, I mean, it's got a lot of hours. We don't have much of a choice.
right.
Any other question?
I just want to make sure I understood that.
I might
I
have-
was trying to explain through, so I just want to make sure I understood that correctly, so.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Business initiated by board members? Board reports? Public participation, non-agenda items. I don't think we had anybody sign up. Our next scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, September 14th at 7 p.m. Right here. Any conflicts?
Nothing on Moira.
All right, then I seek motion for adjournment.
Seconded.
Well, then I guess I make a motion for adjournment. Let me have a second. Roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Myron.